Okay, Aaron, what's your question? Okay, just one? Go ahead, you want me to read it? Okay. If I have health insurance through my employer, how will the health care bill affect my coverage? This is one of the places where I think there has been, I think some misinformation out there. If you have health insurance now with your employer, it will not affect your coverage. If your health, in other words, the insurance reforms that we're going to enact will not affect the company that you have. So let's say, for example, right now, Aaron, you have Blue Cross Blue Shield through your employer. Okay, let's assume he does. Let's assume that your employer keeps that insurance. As long as that policy is in place, that insurance company will not have to go by the reforms in terms of pre-existing conditions and rescission and capping benefits and paying for preventative care, some of the things that we're trying to do in this bill. If, in fact, you change insurance companies at your employer, the new plan would have to obey those market reforms. Doesn't mean you can't get a new plan, doesn't mean you can't go out and buy different insurance, doesn't mean that any private plan is not going to be able to offer insurance. It's just the new market reforms that we're trying to do to protect consumers on pre-existing conditions, and those things will not apply. And I know that there has been, because I've read some of the stuff that's out there, the language, I will tell you this, I am the first to tell you, I think that sometimes the folks that write the bills in Congress, all of us, make it a lot more complicated than it needs to be. Simplifying it, and sometimes that's done because it's complicated, sometimes it's done because it's easier to hide stuff in there. Yeah. And so, that's why I do think it's important. All of you that have written and called me about reading every line, I have read every line of the Senate bill, and I will read every line of the other Senate bill when it comes out. And there is some confusion because there's a line that says you can't write new policies. It says you can't. And the reason they're saying it, that's in the section of the bill that says you can't write new policies that don't obey the new consumer protections about no pre-existing conditions, no rescission if you get really sick, and no lifetime cap on benefits. So it's not whether or not you can get new insurance, it's whether or not the insurance company has to obey the new, they don't have to obey it if it's an existing policy, they can ignore it entirely. Okay?